G'day guys, welcome back to another video on the YouTube channel. And in today's video, we're going through Melbourne Demons and their 2026 SuperCoach preview and their relevance. They're an interesting team. Not to spoil it too much, but you've got one of the best SuperCoach players probably of all time with AFL Max Gawn, and his longevity is insane. But with the new ruck rules, does that affect him? We have Jack Steele, who obviously, a former captain in Melbourne, and a couple other interesting players, which we will get to. But as we do, we kick off with the fixture. So no opening round for them, which means no early bye. They host St Kilda at the MCG round 1. Round 2, they play away to Melbourne. Round 2, they play away to Fremantle. Melbourne do. Round 3, they play Carlton away. Round 4, they play Gold Coast at home. And then round 5, you've got Essendon away, but that's at Adelaide, and then they host Brisbane at the G. Round 6, a very interesting team. Fisher's not great, not outstanding, but there's worse. Not much really touched on. If you do have Max Gawn, he is going to be a captain option on that Sunday, 4 weeks. If you do start him against St Kilda, against Carlton, against Gold Coast, and against Brisbane, but we will touch on him soon. Speaking of Max Gawn, he was the highest averaging Melbourne player by a pretty big margin, 127.4 in the end. Jack Steele, former Saint captain, at 94. Jake Bowie, 92.4. Who he's injured. He's out for about half of next season. This season coming up. So that's a watch, which we'll touch on who that may affect. Cozzy Pickett next up with a 91.5 average, and Christian Salem at a 91.3. We touch on rookies. So just firstly, that's not really that surprising. And we'll touch on rookies here, and there's 2 that I like. So first one here is Xavier Taylor. You guys know I'm a pretty big fan of this draft class. And well, this is sort of what, like, he's listed as a key defender. Though he has that rebound in him, very good, like a very solid rebounder for someone who stands at about 190 centimeters. A relentlessly determined defender with athleticism, with the athleticism to lock down smalls and the aerial ability to compete with tools. Like, his kicking and decision making aren't the best. Didn't rack it up. That would be the under 18s comp, I want to say, under 18s champs. And he is a key defender, right? But I do expect him to play the majority of this upcoming season. He's a key defender though, like we said, so you got to temper your expectations, but also you got to think about it. Yeah, he is also, was it 150k, 160k? So is he worth it? Probably not, but I think he's someone who you do want in terms of the fact that he's going to play. He's going to play every week. And the next one is Andy Moners Wakefield, who is a really interesting one because there's a spot open at halfback. And I was doing a bit of research prior, and I saw this up here on demonland.com. So Moners Wakefield tore his ACL late in the practice match at Arnold Street last season. And he's progressing well with rehab. The club showed faith with 21-year-old medium-sized defender by signing him to a 1-year contract extension. And this person says here, I'm not to be convinced he has the tools to become, and particularly not as a defender. Nevertheless, it is a position of weakness for us, so I'm sure we'll get opportunities if we perform well at Casey. So people would be in and out of it. Though, if he can perform at a decent level, it's hard not to sort of pick him. I think. He's on the smaller side though, which is the issue. But he's short kicking, clean hands, agility, evasion, speed versus 5 steps, 23 touches in the Northern Territory in the Coast Sun. Like that's pretty good in 2 games. So take that what you will. But he's one to watch at 145. I've seen him in a couple teams and rumored really to be starting. We'll now talk about the CBAs here for Melbourne. They are one of note. So this tabs here. Big the big sort of overarching thing for myself is that 2 of their top 4 left. Oliver and Jack obviously gone, which means they need to see people. They need to fill that up. Jack Steele will likely take these CPAs, but I can also see Rivers, Langford, and even our Pickett was 69%, but you could probably see a little bit more of Pickett. Like I said, you expect Langford to get in there. You probably maybe expect a bit of Windsor, but I think you're going to see big bumps from Langford and Rivers in there. Also, you got to think about Steele too. So, I don't think Steele walks into the club and becomes a 72 guy right away. Depends on how Stephen King wants to do it. But yes, it's definitely a watch to see how they go about this sort of CBA thing now with no Track, no Oliver. How do they fill the void? I feel like Langford's really good, Rivers really good, so is Jack Steele. That's you're expecting Langford bump, a Rivers bump, and maybe Bill Windsor. That's about it. And for the kick-ins, this is actually pretty interesting, and this is why I'm more interested in Xavier Taylor, which may make no sense, may make absolutely no sense to people. So with Stephen May and Jake Bowie, if you recall correctly, Melbourne virtually told Stephen May to go find a club, go find a different club. We're not going to play you. Stephen May doesn't. If Stephen May's not going to play, those kickers need to go to someone. No Jake Bowie. Christian Saleb's going to get a huge bump. Willing to bet that. McVee's gone. I expect more midfield time for Rivers. I can see Xavier Taylor being that kick out man. If it's going to be Stephen May, I think you'll see a bit of I think you see a bump from Turner and McDonald along with Xavier Taylor when he comes in. Just a thing to note. That's my thing on the Melbourne Demons. Is that I think no Bowie. I assume May doesn't play, and if he does, I don't think he gets that kick out. If he does, then it is what it is. But no Bowie, someone needs to fill that void. And that's it really for that. Jake Bowie got a bump with no Bay, but it's irrelevant when you're out for half the season. I do believe this is. Jake Bowie injury 6 months, and that's in December. So halfway through the year. We'll go through some players now. Players to watch. And you can't not mention Matt Vaughan. This is the guy who is just such a great asset because of his longevity. From what? Let's go. Over 2018 onwards has not dropped below 105. And mind you, he's had 2 years of 120. He's had 2 years of less than 120. Max Vaughan's look how he finished the year. a 134 average to finish the year, a 198 game versus West Coast. Obviously against West Coast is what it is. That's insane. This is insane. This man's like in this. My issue with Max Spawn, right? Like he will likely be 120. To start the year, double rocks, probably double rocks, but won't affect him. Wits is hard to score against. If it's double rocks, it don't matter. He'll dominate Essendon. And Brisbane aren't the easiest team to score against from memory. But maybe if it's dust 4, if it's double rock, maybe not. But we'll see. That's my issue. Richmond are easy. And he dominated Richmond last time, so they got 7-4. And VC in that game, that's pretty good. That's what I know. And you can see though, a lot of his bad game, like they're his 3 worst games, if you include 88 too. They're against the best. They're against O'Brien's not easy to score against. Wits isn't. Sherry's not. And again, went 112 against Sherry. Definitely something to watch and just keep an eye out for. I think with Maxwell, he's aging too, right? You got to bring it up. He is aging. Next man's Jack Steele, and some people will be never again. I will give him consideration. But a lot of it is off the back of that. He is going to be. He's a former captain of St Kilda. Virtually got told to leave. He's got that bit of like. He has that like chip on his shoulder to be the best, and maybe be a 120 or 110 guy. Last time he went below 100, he then followed it up with 108. With 85% CBAs, that's not like extremely unrealistic. The issue is that he's low possession, high tackles. He's not someone who's going to consistently get good possession numbers, which is a problem, obviously. But he has games where he gets really good CBAs, like, 78, like 86 here against Adelaide. Like, but that's sort of the thing. He can just randomly poo to bed. But then he goes on like a little run like that, where he just, oh yeah, a nice 118. Beautiful. Obviously can't play that one. But even then, of course, so it's 111. What I think I'll consider, but at 510k, you're looking for more of a keeper-esque player, or you're looking for someone who you like almost know will go 100. It's no certainty he does at all. There's no certainty he goes 100. Easily could get injured, and I believe it's his shoulder constantly. That's the issue, which is obviously not ideal. And next guy's Cozzy Pickett. I had him in my team. However, he's been out in every single draft I've done since. And simply put, looking at it, a lot of his big scores come from kicking goals, right? Like, we take out the games where he's kicking 3 or more goals. It's an average of 83. 81 across 2 games. 81.2 across 14 games. Not ideal. And he had a 3-goal performance for a 70 against Collingwood. Like, he needs to kick goals to score well. His highest score is a 115 against Brisbane, where he kicked 2 goals for and had 21 touches. He had a 106 versus Hawthorn. He kicked 2 goals too and had 17 touches that game. He needs shots to goal to score well, and he's going to have to get high possession numbers. And I'm not sure he can kick 3 goals a game, to be completely honest. That's just me. So that's why I'm avoiding him now. That's why I probably won't be on my side. Because a lot of his high scores are due to goals. Next guy I want to talk about is Christian Salem. And this is a man I'm now heavily considering. If May's not playing, Bowie's out, someone needs to take these kick outs. He plays off half back. Is it bad to say I think he can go 100? Look at that end to the year where Rivers. I want to say Rivers was maybe midfield. 108. Like, this is a guy that can score pretty well. Sort of against anyone. I just want to have a look and see if this aligns with Rivers' CBAs and all that. But like, he has that ability to just score because he plays off halfback. So 113, 110. Yeah, he's a very safe 25-ish touches a game. Usually uses the ball pretty well. If we take a look, let's go rounds 9 to 13. What is the average? 82. That doesn't spark you with a lot of confidence. With that, they're dropping out to 73. Though, I want to have a look at 2024 post-buy. Because that's when 82 again. Like, he's a guy. Oh, that's an injury game there. 87. I do think he'd get back up, right? And his averages probably don't say, oh, he can't. But you give him you give him that keys to the halfback to just let him do what he wants and sort of articulate off halfback, play a quarterback role. There's no reason why he can't average a rough 105-ish. Which at what 494? Not terrible. That's what I'm looking at. And he should own a halfback. This is also assuming Rivers goes into the midfield. The other one is left-footed too, and left-footed's good. And the other one is Harvey Langford. And it's simply put on this midfield CBA bump we're expecting. He gets his CBA bump. Oh, you'd hope his score goes alright. Like, that's a solid month of 90 with 2 games not even CBAs. And you can even see, like, he doesn't need CBAs to score. No CBAs 117, no CBAs 124. But he looks ready, mate. Which is great. I'm a big fan of Langford. I'm a big fan of what he does. When I've look at 2024, actually just be at the top right, where he averaged 107 for Dandenong Stingrays. Like, that's really good. That's a top ager, and yeah, I like the pick. I really do. Just going to see more progression. And he'll be a great pick, I reckon. But I think that's it for Melbourne. I could talk about Rivers and all that. Rivers doesn't really perform well in that midfield role, which is interesting. But yes, that is really it. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, like and subscribe. As we continue this team by team series, and we've got North Melbourne next up. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.